This is Mark and Charity's Coffee Podcast.
Mark and Charity Coffee Podcast. How you doing, everybody? Thursday, September 7th today. It's one of my favorite types of shows today where the show actually began before the show.
It did? Was I part of it, or was it just you?
No, it was you.
Okay. Now I'm worried, because I don't remember this happening.
Charity dressed herself in the dark today and wasted no time coming in. And I believe your words were, "Don't you dare talk about this." And I've talked to everybody I know about it.
Maybe I did say that.
No, because it's so good. It's
well,
like
it is. It's ridiculous.
Fun.
It's
No,
the most
not.
ridiculous thing.
It's the greatest.
I usually put my clothes out the night before.
Exactly,
I'm not quite to your degree where it's weeks in advance.
Yeah.
But I'd like to have my clothes out because it's early in the morning.
Sure.
I get ready in a different part of the house, but last night I was lazy and I didn't pull out everything I needed. So I was getting dressed in the dark this morning. I thought I had pulled out a white shirt. Turns out it's neon green.
It felt white.
It felt white. It did. You're right. And it wasn't until I was out of the house that I looked down. It wasn't white.
Too late.
And I wore it with something, so it's not like it's just a shirt on itself. It doesn't clash too much. Jen actually said it looks good, so
It does look good.
And then I thought it wasn't one of my finer outfits. I was going very casual today. I have my ripped jeans on, thinking, okay, well, nobody's in the station today anyway. I can get away with it. And then we have a guest come in after 9 that I didn't know about. So not my finest day.
Our buddy Steve Crook, Executive Director of the Belleville General Hospital Foundation. I thought it was over the phone. He drove in.
Yeah, we got to make that clear.
I got the text.
Words
Be down
matter,
there in 10
Mark.
minutes. Oh, Charity's dressed like a Cirque du Soleil performer. I should probably.
That would be better than the way I'm dressed today. Honestly, I even said to you, I said, maybe you should do this one on your own. I'll just wait in the bathroom.
What a huge disappointment that would be to our guests.
Oh, whatever.
If Charity took a pass.
I'm not even going to the gala. You're the one going. You two could have sat here easily and talked about it. And this is how many galas have you been a part of? I know you've attended a few of them, but been a part of. Because you do the Feed the Fund or Feed a Fund.
Fund a Need.
Fund a Need. Same thing. Feed the fund.
Yeah,
give your
exactly.
money, basically. Mark's there to tell you to open up your wallets and
just give us the money.
And you're very good at it. That's why you get invited back every year. But
Well,
I'm wondering how many times have you... Oh, yes, you can.
I've got to remember now, it's such an interesting point because I emceed the very first one.
On your own or with Ingrid? Because I know you and Ingrid used to do it.
No, like way back on my own with Boyd. And then I think I took a year off. I didn't get asked back. But it was a weird thing.
And that was the off year. And they realized we need Mark.
But then it was like, yes, come back. So I emceed it again. And I think if this is, because this is a 24th gala.
Steve said this is the 24th.
I will say 20 years ago, give or take a year or two, Fund a Need was, quote unquote, created, where they said, here's a new way of raising funds.
On top of the auction. And
right, because it just was always auctions,
and
right?
And tickets, yeah.
And then somebody who very, very smart in that sector said, you know what, the number one reason why people don't give to charities is because they're not asked. So we should just simply begin to ask people. So at the end of galas, they would say, okay, you didn't get the item you wanted for silent auction. You didn't get the money that you wanted from the other auction. You clearly raised your paddle because you were more than willing to give us $2,000 or $3,000 for a gift. Mm-hmm. Would you just give us $3,000 of the bottom line? And lo and behold, people said, sure. I came here to support the hospital, and that's what Fund a Need is. So they would say to me, we need to raise, I can't remember, I think the first year, let's see if we can raise $30,000 or $40,000 for this piece of equipment, and we raised $50,000. So like that night, we bought a piece of equipment for the hospital.
The other part of it, though, too, because I don't think people realize either, when you give your money, It's one thing to donate, but quite often I think you would get more if you can connect it. And you can always say, we always know somebody who uses the hospital, but until you have a face, I think a face really brings it home. Oh, yeah. And they also have guest speakers every year sharing their story and experience through the hospital. So they do that, and then you come on the stage. Yeah, like everybody's already crying, and then Mark's like, yeah, imagine that. Yeah. Okay, now give me your money, and boom.
I have the easiest job in the world. People, you did such a great job. No, I didn't.
I don't mean to make it sound that way, because what you do is very hard, and I know that because I couldn't do it. But I'm just saying, a combination of having that face and then having someone come up there and say, okay, now you can give. Give.
The gala before the pandemic, so September of 2019, we were raising money and fundraising. Steve and I were talking about how we were going to do it. And he said, it's going to be for the oncology department. Mm-hmm. And I think it was the week before the gala, so because it's always about mid-September, so I'm going to say it was like today, 2019, I don't know. I read an article that said that by the year 2050, because right now I think cancer touches 1 in 3 people in Canada. By 2050, it's going to be 1 in 2 if we don't get a handle on it. 1 in 2. I filed that one away, and I said to my wife as I was getting ready to go up, like they're introducing me, and I said, I don't mean to embarrass you, but I'm going to come back to the table in a second, and you're going to need to stand up. Don't be mad at me. Because she's not an introvert, but she's also not my prop. She's always made that clear. I get you talk about me on the air, but I'm not just a prop.
She's not the one who enjoys the spotlight.
Right. So I said, I need you to do that, okay? Just please do that, and that's all you need to do. She said, oh, okay. Whatever. So what I did was I got up and said, if I had to, it's going to be 1 in, what I did is I asked everybody, okay, whoever you're with tonight, take their hand right now. Mm-hmm. Hold on, whoever you're with. And I said, now, if by 2050, if you don't get cancer, and I just stopped, it's 1 in 2. So if it isn't you, and then you could just see the heads nodding and the eyes turning. And that's when I walked over, I took Cass' hand. I don't know what I would do if I got cancer. But I sure as hell know what I would do if she got cancer. And just sort of left it at that. We raised $400,000. Now, is that my gift? Maybe. I don't know.
One of many, Mark.
So that's why they keep asking me back, because I love to do it.
But that's what I mean, putting a face to it, right? Yeah. Making it relatable. And even though you may have used the hospital in the past, maybe visited someone in the hospital. I had both my boys at BGH. It brings it home when something like that is brought to the forefront, like something as in your face. We need that, and that's what you do.
Great reminder.
It's in your face. Mark's in your face in the gala.
Charity's mentioned it a couple times. I didn't realize until I worked with Charity. Apparently, I am not subtle. Charity says I need to work on my subtle skills.
That's what they need. And that's why this event is so, and we're going to have parts of our talk with Steve, of course, next week. And I'm really excited because you're right. There are some really good sound bites from Steve in it. One being the fact that this would be, if not the event of the year, one of the biggest events of the year. Like, people really do block this date off and make a point of going to the Belleville General Hospital Foundation Gala.
Live band's amazing. The food is amazing.
Yeah, it's just a fun night.
Wonderful place. It's great. And the fundraising will be epic. Yeah. And it's so, so important. So anyway, that'll be more of a podcast next week.
Yeah, but we're just setting the stage here.
Brimming from all of that. Yeah. We've got so much stuff going on before that, which includes Belleville's first Blues Festival, which is going on in downtown Belleville this weekend on Saturday. There's a lot to it. Carol Feeney, the organizer, on the show to talk about why she wanted to have one and why partner with the Gleaners Food Bank.
Well, you know what? I mean, Tony and I were rehearsing because before COVID, we would do like open mics and all that stuff. But then, like many community members, thinking about, the homeless and the food insecurity and all that stuff and the pressure on Gleaners Food Bank, we just sort of said, well, you know what? Belleville needs a blues festival, and maybe we can partner with Gleaners Food Bank and do something good. And that's how it happened.
So a win-win coming up Saturday, September 9th. It gets underway at 11. What's the day look like, Carol?
It is going to be jam-packed. 11 o'clock, Belleville Public Library. We've got Paul Daniers, a former board member of the Maple Blues Society, and he's going to do a talk with music. It sounds boring, it's not. It's going to relate the blues roots music to contemporary groups like Rolling Stones. very entertaining. Then we go to Market Square at 12:30, and we've got the Chandor Big Blues Band, again, all free from 12:30 to 3:30. Meanwhile, we have the main stage starting at 1 o'clock with Hellbound Trail, and then we follow up with the Brian Roger Band at 5 o'clock, and then Jack de Kaiser at 7. Everything that we are offering is free to the public with the expectation that they will donate money, first and foremost. Yes, food, but money. Because $1 that we give to them, they can translate that to $5 in food, and we have a huge need in our community right now.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So the money will go directly to Gleaners. Gleaners people will be on site at every event. And guess what? They've got a tap machine. You can't say, sorry, I don't have any cash.
Those tap machines are wonderful.
That's right. She's thought of it. Carol Feeney joins us this morning. Belleville's first downtown blues festival to benefit Gleaners Food Bank is coming up Saturday, September 9th.
Well, and you beat me to it, Carol, because I was going to ask you, it has to cost something, but you're saying no, absolutely free.
Yes, and everyone involved in organizing this is volunteering their time, but every musician is being paid for their work. I don't support artists and musicians having to come to community events and donate. Well, why not? They have to eat and they've got families too.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. That's
and
great.
Again, it's all in support of Gleaners Food Bank. So you don't have to pay for these artists, even though you're going to be there enjoying it. So you make a donation to the Gleaners Food Bank and you help out the community.
Yes.
All right, first annual coming up September the 9th begins once again with those discussions going on at Belleville Public Library at 11, and then they'll be shutting down Front Street between Victoria and Campbell, and they've got stages. So what a wonderful day. Carol, thanks for all your efforts. It's going to be a good one.
Oh, thank you too. I really appreciate your support.
Again, another fabulous event downtown here in your own backyard.
Absolutely
and it's free.
Yep.
Yes. Take a donation.
Mm-hmm.
For the Gleaners Food Bank, because as we all know, food banks are having a hard time keeping up, and more and more people are using them. So it's important to give back what you can. So if you have a couple extra cans in your cupboard, pick up some food at the grocery store and drop it off, and take in some wonderful music over the course of Saturday.
And as Carol mentioned, you can tap some plastic.
Yes.
So you don't have to worry about not having cash on you. They got that figured out. Kids are going back to school. They got to ensure that they have lunches. I mean, there are programs, but yes, you can still help them grassroots with the Gleaners Food Bank.
And don't forget to volunteer as well.
Yeah.
If you can volunteer with Gleaners, because as we've heard in the past, especially around the holidays, but it never hurts any time of the year if you have time to give, that too is a way to give back.
And Carol's background, too, with the Quinte Arts Council for many years before, and as a term as a counselor at City Council, still getting involved in the community. So, Carol, thanks for all your organizing on that. That's great. Coming up tomorrow, Jimmy Hollywood's going to be on there with Rumor Day. That's happening tomorrow.
Hopefully better than today.
Yeah,
he had his movies for the weekend.
Yeah. He tried to sell it. I got an email from somebody.
He did well.
I got an email from a listener who said, he's not even done, and I know I'm not going to see Big Fat Greek Wedding 3.
Okay, yeah. The first one was good.
Yeah.
Didn't see the second one.
And then...
Going to be not surprised that nobody sees the third one.
This is what...
And then Nun 2.
Yeah,
and I know we're getting closer to Halloween, but I don't understand when the big movie... studios put films like that out in any other month than October.
Yeah, just do it.
Just do it in October. I don't want to see that right now.
I didn't see Nun 1.
Yeah, exactly.
It wasn't called that. But I'm not sure what didn't get resolved.
Exactly.
In the first
do we need Nun 2?
Here comes another Exorcist movie in October.
I know.
And it was scheduled to be on a Friday. Taylor Swift put her movie there. The Exorcist has removed their date.
As they should. Nobody else should release
is opening
anything.
And Jimmy told us that pre-sales, no, it's in October. Pre-sales, maybe, I'm not sure. Pre-sales anyway for Taylor Swift, $100 million.
Already, yeah.
Just for the movie to sit.
Pre-sales.
But I kind of thought about it yesterday. I almost wanted to say to Kath, do you want to go watch it? I know it's 3 hours. That's as close as I'll get to seeing the concert. Yeah, it's in a movie theater, but I get popcorn. I don't have to spend anything more than $12.95 or $13, whatever it is, to go see the movie. It'll be well produced. My seats are great.
Yep.
And the sound will be phenomenal.
You'll see a lot more of her than you would if you went to a stadium to see her.
Yeah, and sat up in the nosebleeds for 100 times the cost.
And you're right, it is October 13th.
October 13th. Friday the 13th. Exorcist says, what's better than that? And then Taylor Swift releases a movie.
Really, Taylor?
On the same day.
But I think 13's a thing for her.
Exactly.
Isn't it? Yeah.
So that's her favorite number.
Yeah.
So forget it. You're not getting that day, Exorcist. You go somewhere else.
And they did.
So they will.
Taylor Swift, it's her world. We're just all
I know
watching from the sidelines, to be honest. We're not even in it. We're just watching. It's crazy.
How long?
Again, Taylor Swift.
Weeks, months until she and Joe Jonas are back together after the divorce. Mm-mm. They're adults now.
No.
They're adults now.
Joe Jonas is so not her type.
They're so...
No.
I disagree.
Nope.
We'll just play that one up then.
Quite honestly, and this is awful to say, and I know it's ridiculous that I even have an opinion on it, but from the time they got married, Joe Jonas and his wife Sophie Turner,
right?
I was like, this is stupid. Like, what are these two thinking? Honestly, like, do you not know people? I remember when we were going through the wedding phase of all of our friends and people we knew getting married. Out of all of them, and there were a few, there was one couple I remember thinking, that's not going to last.
No, really?
And it didn't. And this when you just get that feeling.
Okay, I never had that.
You've never had that feeling when people.
I don't know signs
Because again, I know you don't. Okay,
I don't
sorry.
know anything.
But it's I hate to say it, but it's the same with Nick.
Okay.
And his wife.
And Priyanka Chopra.
I don't think that's the long haul.
Do you think he and Joe had a bet to see which one of them would divorce first?
I think people outside the family might have had a bet going.
Oh.
But it doesn't surprise me and they're young. Like,
yeah,
they just,
so young.
Well.
Yeah.
She is. I guess he's 37, 36.
Joe's that old now? I thought Nick just turned 30. I thought he was 32, 33. No?
Oh, maybe.
Okay. I'm not.
Maybe I'm thinking Kevin. Maybe Kevin's that old.
Kevin's in for the long run.
Oh, yeah. He and his wife are fine.
They're great.
But, yeah, the whole Nick or Joe and Sophie, yeah.
We'll find out at some point, but apparently if you missed the Pulse this morning, miss a little, miss a lot. Joe caught something on their Nest recording.
Their Ring camera.
The Ring camera,
I had to look up what a Ring camera was. I'm like, what is a Ring camera? But yeah, so something happened on the front porch.
So he either saw something or heard something that
she
clearly didn't want him to see or know, and it was based on that.
Nobody seems to know if it's something heard or something seen.
Yeah, so...
But he is aware of it.
Oops.
Yeah. There's cameras everywhere.
They are. And they're celebrities.
Is. Like, come on, guys.
Come on.
But,
some more on that with the Pulse and Rumor Day and all that going on tomorrow.
It never ends.
Including the dad joke as we get into a Friday. Have yourself a great Thursday, okay? Back in tomorrow morning at 95.5 Hits FM.